like outside just before the match, he just tries to calm down. Some of the players try and make little jokes to lighten the mood a little bit, and not let everything that starts sinking in.
Yeah, no tail like riding on the back of socks, you know, everything like that.
All right, you guys, it is time to get this International 2019 Grand Finals started in style. Champions of the International 2018, now again on the ground stage of the International 2019 OG, taking the stage, ready to face up against what some would say is their nemesis, Team Liquid, and they look ready. Smiles are had, cheers are had by the crowd. Cannot wait to get this match started. A best of 5 between two giants in Dota 2.
Nemesis, rivals, friends, the lines get blurry, right? I mean,
yeah.
Dota 2 is such a tight community in many ways, and you want to be friends with some of these players. In fact, you might end up being teammates with them in the future, or maybe you were in the past. But in this moment, they're going to be the bitter rivals. And
the 7 there already just amped. They look exactly like last year, right? Even in there, I can read some lips as to what he's saying. Maybe not broadcast friendly there, but he is hyping up that team, getting ready in the booth. The drums of war are playing, and finally it is time. They've been sitting back there, they've been watching everything. Ready, as you can hear.
That cheer was for Seb.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that said, you know, they're not going to cheer as loud as for a PSG LTD, and while that might be true, these people are not silent. They are definitely cheering their hearts out. I also want to take you back to a moment when we talked to, or when Casey talked to Kuro yesterday. What did he say? What did he say?
I don't know, but I guess we'll have to find out later.
We're finding out later. I can tell you what he said.
That would be good.
That will be good. He said...
Do you do an impression or no?
No, there's no way.
Just wanted to make sure.
No, I think that would be disrespectful to a lot of people. No, he basically said after the group stages, and we all knew OG was crushing it, Liquid at the bottom of the barrel, and they are both people that with an unhealthy habit for which they need to go outside. This is what happened.
No Tails are ready for you in the grand final. He told us in his interview that Liquid is who he's been waiting to face.
Yeah, but basically after the group stage, Note and I met in the balcony and saw he was in the upper bracket. I was like top 16. And I asked him to wait me in the finals. Like I'm gonna try to go there all the way. And I hope we can do it. Yeah.
This is like a movie. Meet me in the finals.
Yeah, some history there. I really love seeing these two going head to head. And actually, overall, historically, it has been Liquid that has been victorious when facing OG. You want to take a little bit of a jab at their head to head results, Trent?
How many we talk, like a percentage?
Okay, no,
here?
I have the actual games, and they are a total of exactly 50 games.
50 games against each other. I'm gonna say Liquid 30. No, Liquid 29.
I'm going to say Liquid 32 against the 18.
Copy, what
Can
you got
I go
to?
prices right on this? Is it 33?
It's 33.
Oh, got him.
You're the worst.
So Liquid
I'm
has
the best.
has a 33.
He's on that note before. No way.
No, you said 32.
Well,
So I just went
I'm
one
just
up.
good. I'm paying attention. You know,
No, I
writing
think
stuff down. Where's your book?
I have it all up here because I pay attention.
Are you saying it's
I
okay?
memorized all
I
my
got,
notes. For example, did you know that GH in an interview going into this group stage, he said that
Yes,
he
I
did
did.
expect an OG was going to be a very tough opponent. They knew that going into this international. They fully expected that, and in a lot of ways, GH said that they admired OG and they want to be able to replicate some of what OG does best. Just turn it, a little bit into their flavor. Maybe he was talking about hero picks and stuff, but who knew that he was actually talking about OG being able to make a run through a lower bracket at a DPC event all the way into the finals? Maybe even taking it.
I'm not surprised that other teams are stealing the other team's strat. We saw Team Secret playing the carry IO, and they definitely stole it.
Yeah.
OG.
Iron
No
Man
doubt
said
about
it
it.
himself, right? There's no shame in copying strats.
as
No
long as
shame
you
in
maybe
stealing
do it
or no
better.
shame in admitting.
Both, I think.
It's a big, isn't it? There's a saying about it being the imitation is the biggest form of flattery. It's like, hey, what you're doing is really good. We're going to try to do the same because we think that's the way to play. That's a big compliment. I do think these two teams have a little bit of different styles of playing Dota, but I do think both are very active early on. I think we're going to have some fun with these games, Cap.
Yeah, I think we are too, because 33 out of 50.
33 out of
It's still
50.
relatively close, and there were some times where OG were a little bit shaky as a roster,
Right,
where Liquid
yeah.
maintained constant dominance. They were always one of those teams that were top 3 once they really got into form, and they just never really let that go. So here, it feels like the odds are 50-50 in many ways. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Well, I don't know about that.
You have a favorite here?
I think this might be. I don't want to jinx it. This looks like it could be another 3-0 or
Really?
3-1 to me.
For who?
In favor of who?
OG. OG, you're terrifying. Have you guys been watching these games?
Yeah, but they got Alchemist.
Let me check my
They got
notes.
Alchemist twice to be able to get into the grand finals.
Oh, they
All right?
need
Curl's
Alchemist.
not going to do that.
So they don't have Alchemist, they have the IO.
But have you
Yeah,
seen
but Liquid also has the IO.
The same IO? Does it look like Anna's IO?
Maybe it's a different kind of IO,
It's a
but
much
it's just
worse
as good.
IO.
I mean, both of these
I don't
teams
know
know
about
how to play IO, so
Yes.
they know how to counter it
Uh-huh.
unless they decide to ban it out. If they don't have a first pick.
We're going to find out about all that later on. When you guys talk about performing, these teams are no stranger to being in the grand finals. Liquid and OG actually themselves were in the grand finals of the Manila Major. OG won that one, even though Liquid kind of feels that they should have. If you talk to them, also at that point, it was Jarex indeed on OG and Miracle on. Actually, it was Jarex on Liquid and Miracle on OG. Liquid has also been in the grand finals of the Shanghai Major, where Weeha was actually successful against them. Now he's with the team. Perhaps that's what they needed. But they haven't. They haven't won a major. Am I correct in saying that? Or did they win the Epicenter
TI
major
winners.
last
That's
year?
it.
Just TI winners.
Yeah, all that
you know.
matters.
Yeah, potato. No, all of these players have tremendous experience. Sebastian has been to 5 TIs. If you don't count talent or wild cards, and 3 of those were as a player. This is his 5th TI. He's been talented too. This is your second year as talent, right, Trent?
Yeah, that's true.
Does it mean you're gonna, transition into coach, into player?
No,
you gotta do the same
he's
route.
making spot for me. That's good. I need him up there, or else I run into some trouble.
Seb
That's why you're saying 3-0
No,
for OG.
yeah.
You don't want Seb to quit.
No,
I don't think
keep going, buddy. You got this.
I don't think anyone made the transition from straight out talent to coach or player. Like, you need to be a player before.
Yeah.
Have you been
I'd
a player
hope so.
before?
No. In fact, the only people foolish enough to hire me were Complexity during that TI5 run. So there you go. See how that worked out for old Kyle.
Wasn't great.
Good thing he's gone.
But are you hinting at something here, Lacoste? Would you ever consider going as a coach? Like, obviously, you see Soxka on the stage. Soxka used to be also a TI1, TI2. He played wildcards TI3. He's no stranger to the Dota 2 scene, especially to the early Dota 2 scene, where you were also an active player part of that.
I try to coach a little bit the Serbian/Croatian squad, Elements Pro Gaming, during the Boston major. Well, that didn't end well, but here I am now. I don't know. Coaching is a bit hard. Someone in the interview talked about, I think it was Heen, who said, like, I can coach you, but I don't know what to do. I've never done it before. So do your own thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot of smart people in the community who can be coaches, but you don't have the chance to prove it. I'm not talking about myself. Don't worry.
Well, I was talking to Heen, and he was saying that he wished he had more time. It's like, geez, you already had quite a bit of time with TNC, but he still wants more time. It's like it never ends, right? And I think the idea of coaching is that you have to really be there. You have to be a part of that family in order to do the best possible job. Coaching is not a thing where you can just, like, show up to the LAN and be like, hey, guys, so what are we doing this time? Like, it's not even enough to be at the boot camps. I think you really need this, like, full-on team dynamic of just, like, we are together all the time, all the year, becoming a single unit if you want the full effectiveness
The hardest
of a coach.
part is when team is not doing well. This is when you struggle. Like, you can see the players arguing against each other. When things are going smoothly, you can kind of look like a good
good
coach.
weather coach.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult thing to be a bad weather coach, though. Can you take your squad out of a rut and bring it to greatness? That's kind of the only time you really test it.
I think you kind of have to be like the hardest worker on the team. We heard Curl actually compliment his coach, Roman, RMN, and this is a guy that I think in order to be a good coach, you just have to have a passion for Dota that doesn't exist with anybody else. You have to have been one of those people who's so passionate about the game, you tried to go and play pro, right? Because you loved it so much, you were playing it so much, and you got that good because you cared so much about the game. And Armin was one of those guys. He was a semi-pro. He was playing for Team Goomba. I casted many of a tier 3.
All the German style.
You're casting the tier 3 games together. Team Goomba.
His name goes back in Dota 1 days as well, I know. For 10 plus years, probably.
It's actually very interesting if you look into the history of all those tier 3 Dota 2 stacks, because a lot of these people that are on the stage right now play together at some point. We have Mind Control. Obviously, everybody knows that he came from the FPL ranked leaderboard list when he joined Liquid, but before that, he was a part of basically Unknown.
Yeah, that roster was like
it was
like
Seb
a revolving
and Soxka.
door.
Yeah, it was a revolving door. There were a lot of people on there, but 2 people that he actually spent time on a team with were Sebastian, Seb, and Soxka. I thought that was very interesting. Also, I'm going to ask you guys a pop quiz.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yes.
Another one of those rotating door teams. Balkan Bears.
Oh, yeah. We got this one.
Okay.
There were 5 players in this TI, and a couple that are on stage that were in Balkan Bears.
Okay, we got the easy one, the gimme. We got Weehaw.
Weehaw.
Miracle. Another gimme.
We have Miracle, both on stage. Both used to be
App Store on it?
Yes, he was.
Oh.
I don't think you're going to guess the other 2.
Was it
Hold on.
No-Tail?
It was not No Tail.
They were here in TI.
Yes, though.
They are here in TI. They were part of they're part of the 16.
I remember at one point in time, Balkan Bears pulled in like a somewhat well-known name, but he was a little bit like washed up at a time.
None of these people are from Balkan, though.
No,
No, these 2 people will not be from the Balkans.
Stop. She's got us.
All right,
Shall I
give us
just
the first letter.
From which one? From the first or the second?
First one.
First one.
Just give it to us.
F. There's not that many
Is it
people.
Fada? Fada was on Balkan Bears?
No.
Are there any other Fs?
It's not FY for sure.
There's really nobody else in another F. It's Fly.
Ah.
And the other one starts with a P. Pylai Die. I'll spoil it for you.
Okay,
What is
Fly was
interesting
the name most.
is that with those Balkan Bears, Miracle and Weeha obviously both used to be mid players, and they kind of kept replacing each other. They swapped back and forth in terms of being on the squad, getting kicked and replaced by the other, and then vice versa again as well. So I thought that was kind of a nice thing, and now obviously they get the chance to play together. But isn't that crazy that all those grassroots teams of people struggling to make it as a profession?
Yeah.
Some of their success stories in there.
What's even harder than that too is that you hear sometimes like Miracle or Yapsor talk about people who they played with back home. They're like, "Oh, this guy was so good."
Yeah.
And you're just like, what if that same person was given those opportunities? Like I've heard them talk about guys who played these WSGs, and there's like, Aframoosh or like Hook. Like I know from that region, there's like these guys are so good.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you were just like so close to being a part of this. And then that just like drives you further to want to try that, depending on like the boundaries in your life to go for it. But obviously these guys fully committed, and this is what they've done with it.
Many of them have been kicked or experienced, like we talk about like the failure that happens at TI, but like at least you got to TI and you experienced some level of success and you managed to make some money. But before all of that was the grind where you weren't making that money. You were getting kicked out of teams, or your teams would disband or something like that. And you would experience failure after failure after failure. And I think in many ways it hardened some of these players and continued to strengthen their resolve to push past. And now when they experience the same kind of failures on a much larger scale, they're ready for it.
Yeah, if you want to fully commit, there's going to be ups and downs for sure, but you need to go through those downs, and it is the hardest part.
Apart from one player on the stage that didn't run through the grind, he started playing his first professional results were in 2017. And then he got to 2018, he's like, okay, let's win this thing. I'm talking about Thompson, of course. He is one of the few Royal Roaders we have. I'm adopting the term.
You can't tell, though, because the way that he walks on the stage, I think he is the most swag of any player here at TI. Out of all the walkouts I've seen, he's got the broad shoulders all of a sudden. He hasn't cut his hair yet. He's doing this.
You know why.
Can we get a close-up on Trent while he does that?
I mean, you can just put me side by side by
keep
Thompson.
that swagger going,
the
baby.
exact same thing. It's just there's a death stare, and he's just walking.
Right there.
Yeah, that's him.
He's got about 8 brothers, right? I think that's where that comes from.
Yes, that's right. The top son.
You know, you gotta swag out each other. You gotta be.
And he got him. That's all I'm saying. No, that guy won TI. He's like, where are you at now, siblings?
I mean,
I'm a successful engineer. I have a lawyer practice. I play video games that have made millions of dollars. Top son, baby.
Every dinner he's just popping off.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that, you know, we call him a Royal Roader because he won his TI in the first try, and now he's in the finals again. If he win, what do you call someone that wins 2 TIs 2 times in a row? The only TIs I've ever played.
Retired, man. I'm out of here. See you later.
No. That's Anna's line. Okay. He's just here for the paycheck.
When we talk about Team Liquid, they also have, of course, a Royal Roader there, Lacoste. You got GH.
Well, yeah, GH also came out of nowhere, I would say, and suddenly he's here about to win the second TI. And I mean, there's a lot of skilled players from the region where he's coming from, and you mentioned Aframoosh and Mage.
Yeah,
Hook. There's a lot of skilled players that need to be given opportunity. Also, I think the scene there is actually growing, like really flourishing.
I mean, if you talk about people given a chance, Miracle came out of nowhere. Anna came out of nowhere. That was a big question mark when OG picked him up. GH also out of nowhere. These 10 players on stage, they all were giving a shot at a time. There's obviously a couple of grinders at the top there. Kuroki, and we haven't really talked about him yet because we have said so much about Kuro already. He's been at all 9 internationals, multiple grand finals. I think this is his 3rd. Won one of them, and he started playing well before the first TI. He said he started playing Dota in 2008. You know, he's had over a decade of experience. It is crazy to think that he is still on top of his game, able to be on top of his game. There's not a lot of players that can say that.
Yeah, I like the fact that we do have this narrative of all these new players who've been given a chance, because there was a history of Dota, both Dota 1 and a lot of Dota 2 history, probably the first 3-4 years, where the people who got the chance to be able to play professionally, it was very tightly held. It was considered that like pubs, it wasn't really a good true sense of skill, and it came down to getting an opportunity to try out for a team, and that obviously came with being able to know somebody and have someone vouch for you. And there's a lot of stories about that. You know, like 1437, you know, got vouched by Fear, for example. There's a lot like that.
That was the word back then, man. The vouch. That was like that's all you needed. You needed in that in-house
leagues. Yeah.
You tried not to get 1v1 out of the in-house league.
Yeah.
Also very important, but that's where a lot of these teams came from.
It really is. It's impressive. Every time, if you think back of all of the internationals, you know, every international is known for something. TI8, OG, Cinderella run. You got TI7, lower bracket run for Liquid. You know, everything has something. What is this TI going to be known for?
Best group stage.
Second TI winner.
Second TI winner.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to overshadow everything at this time.
Handsomest English final panel.
Oh, also true.
I like it.
Thanks to Lacoste.
Thank you.
It's a snazzy shoe.
It really is. I do want to, you know, cater also to people that don't really watch Dota at all. You know, hello, I know you're there. Tune in once a year. We love to have you, and we love to talk to you about all the players we have playing on stage. You know, we have obviously a big passion for the game, and we love to share that passion. And I want to, you know, set the story for you for these two teams facing each other. And obviously, as Trent just mentioned, there is a chance of well, first of all, there's a chance of a back-to-back TI champion. That is crazy. And then there's, regardless, going to be a two-time champion at this International 2019. Now, what other stories should people be aware of? Like, just the people stories.
Why should they play Dota, is what I would say. I mean, if you're here and you're just watching once a year, I think we need to change that. They should come and play Dota.
Or watching more often. You know, Dota is a spectator sport.
Yeah, just come for us. That's also fine. But if you want to, you know, get some more enjoyment and learn more about the game, even if you think you're going to be terrible, even if you think it might not be the best time, you are going to thoroughly enjoy these games a lot more if you play Dota. You can learn more. You can appreciate what these players are doing a heck of a lot more when you try and do similar things and go, wow, this is very difficult.
I played Eon of Strife, Tides of Blood, then I switched to Dota when it came out. Now I'm playing Dota 2. It's been probably 15 years combined. It's basically half of my life. I'm not that young, even though I look young. So 15 years of Dota, and look where it got to me.
And how many friends have you made along the way?
A lot of friends.
15 years time, you too could be up on this panel.
A bit less, I would say. And I do have a lot of friends.
It's a community. It's an ever-changing game.
Yeah.
It's the hardest. Nothing is more satisfying than getting better at Dota.
Yeah, it is definitely the deepest game in that regard, both when it comes to mechanics and strategy, but the history, right? Yeah. Like, we're talking about, like, I think that's what makes Dota 2 as an esport really interesting, is the very, very deep history that starts with that kind of grassroots buildup. You really can't get that kind of a faithful esport than something that has been built up from the ground, just purely through fans loving the game, loving a custom mod of a game that's in another game. You know, trying to explain that to your friends, you sound real dumb. Believe me, I tried.
The best feeling in Dota is when you hang out with your friends on TeamSpeak or whatever and play with them after 10 p.m. Your belly is full, you know, and enemy team is trying to fall back to their base, and that's the best feeling. You're trying to kick them when they're down. You're chasing them to their base. That's
kind of like OG, bristleback in the fountain, that kind of stuff. That was peak Dota on the stage.
That's we're trying to send happy thoughts here. Okay?
That's happy thoughts.
That's very happy for one team.
Yeah. You might have to be a little bit on the other side too when you're still learning.
We raise ourselves up by tearing each other down. That's what we do it, Dota. Come on over. We need more to tear down. We need more foundation.
All right, guys. Let's also not forget that we are at the moment we have the biggest prize pool in all of esports history, with all the different games combined. Well, not combined, but all the different games there. Over $34 million, and the winner gets 45% of that, which is just over 15 million.
Yeah, there's your 34 million reasons to start playing Dota.
Yeah, play Dota right now. Because it's actually surprising, some of the younger squads, everybody is always, younger people, normally better, blah, blah. Not here. Experience. We heard Puppy say it earlier as well when he got eliminated. He said the best practice for the International is playing at the International. Now, you don't get that chance very often, and you need some of that experience before you can, securely win an International. Of course, that doesn't go for all people, but for in most cases, that is true.
And it took him almost 200 games of the International to be able to lead a squad confidently. I mean, you even heard, back when he was a veteran of the TI5, TI6 days, we saw that there was some issues happening there, and you just need to be able to grind out that experience, just like you have to do with everything else in Dota 2.
Grind out the experience. Or watch. You can watch. You don't have to play.
Don't let them off easy.
So
Make them play.
They're watching right now. We should appreciate that fact.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. When you see Liquid and OG going up against each other head to head, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Lacoste?
Europe.
Says the European.
All right, because both of these squads are from the European region, and throughout the year, there's always a lot of discussion. What is the strongest region? And I think that this iteration, this DPC Season 2, and the finale, of course, right here in Shanghai, it is a clear answer, clear winner. We have 2 European teams in the finals, and in the top 4, there were 3 even. I see some people.
I don't want to engage in this conversation.
They got us on this one.
2 North Americans are who we automatically checked out. Hey, let's talk about this strongest region. Just wait till next year. We've got somebody on the draft panel who is going to do great work for us in North America. By the way, another person who got into Dota thanks to Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Tsunami play
Gunnar got into it off of TF2.
And there it is.
Listen, Cap, I appreciate the well wishes, but I think the world isn't ready for me. Oh, right, Gunnar, you're also pretty good. I think.
Hi.
You're a hell of a player.
Yeah, I try.
And this must be incredibly enticing for you to see. You see all the storylines and everything like that. You could be that rookie player next time.
I can make my own story.
Oh, you gonna write it? With Febby, hopefully.
Yo, Febby, can we claim you as NA as well?
Oh yeah,
He's played in our region for a while.
He's Canadian. He's my boy.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot you're Canadian. My bad.
When people talk about, sorry guys, I'm gonna cut you off for a little bit again. You gotta prep, and you gotta make sure that you say a lot of smart things about the draft that is to come very soon. Because I wanna talk more about the players, because often when you're talking about OG. You're talking about all the players, and I feel like a lot of people feel like Jarex is left out. And I wanna praise him a little bit here, because he is on the finals again, and he is a phenomenal player. He actually also he went to Korea at some point. Like, you know what? I'm gonna start making this a career. I'm gonna move to Korea and play professionally there. He played he's an old school player. He played together with Sunbi and Heen in a TI at some point.
That's one of those big leaps.
Yeah.
Talking about people maybe not getting an opportunity in certain regions. He made an opportunity, right? He took a massive leap to do something like that into an area that wasn't very well developed. Of course, Blitz and Purge thrown in there.
Dota-wise.
So they were able to try and bring that scene up a little bit, and then there's the man himself.
What was that team? MVP Hot 6?
MVP Hot 6, yeah.
Yes.
And he did that after he is finished, of course, and when you're finished, you have to do military service. So he did that after his military service. He moved to Korea.
That was like them
that
sleeping.
smile, that hair, that must be Jarex. Also, the dude's a smoke breaker. I think he breaks the most smokes in the game. I don't know if we don't talk a lot about Jarex, but I do for sure. The dude's just a beast. His positioning in team fights is extremely well. You can always see him doing stuff, has a buyback when it's needed, does not hesitate to use it at all. His decision making is basically milliseconds.
Yeah, he definitely enables the OG playstyle that they want to be able to go for. This was a conscious decision that they made. They decided, how do we want to play? We want to be aggressive. We want to be able to play in the enemy's face all the time. They made that decision that that was going to be their playstyle. They're probably the best at it. And as a result, they're here at the International. It goes to show, like, you can make different kind of playstyles work. We've seen a lot of different ones here at the TI.
He's a very good risk calculator.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe he swings and he misses on a few plays, but overall, I feel like he is a guy who I see take some roll in an Earth Spirit or something. And I'm just like, oh god, that's so dangerous, and then he hits it. Yeah. It's like, oh my god. If any player had to miss that, this turns into a double kill the other way. But he's consistent, right? He sets up those massive plays for OG. So we will talk about him. We will watch him.
We will really, really watch him, and we will also do so very, very soon. I know you guys have been waiting for a while to get this started, and it is finally time for the grand finals of the International 2019.
OG versus Team Liquid. Grand Finals, Game 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. That's right. It's OG versus Team Liquid Grand Finals International 2019. And I hope you're in it for the long haul because this is a best of 5 series. First team to take 3 games will win this entire tournament. As you saw earlier, I'm joined here by Gunnar and Febby. And as they had briefly mentioned on the panel, this is 2 European teams. And this is the first time that 2 teams from the same region have been competing in TI Grand Finals since 2014, which it was VG Gaming and Newbie. Yeah. So, I want to ask you really quickly, as we are soon getting into this draft, what's it like playing another team for your region, and what's like the scrim culture? Because obviously, when someone's very close to you geographically, it makes sense to play them frequently in scrims. So, what kind of information do you get during scrims? Are you more trying to figure out what you're good at, or are you trying to figure out what the enemy team is bad at? You're trying to figure out new strats. You're trying to play heroes. What exactly do teams get by doing scrims?
Well, a lot of the times in tournaments, whenever same region teams play each other, you'll see that there's like upsets, right? Where it's like this really strong team, they could be like top 6, top 4, whatever, is getting knocked out by, like maybe a top 12 team or something like that from their same region. And it's because they play each other, like you said, a lot, right? They know their strats, they know the way they like to draft, they know the players, especially from pubs. Like you play the pubs with some player, this guy likes to pick these type of heroes, he likes to kind of make this stuff around the map, and sure, it's not in a competitive as aspect all times, but you get a feel for all the players. So that's why a lot of the times, like here, I'm expecting to see the games be like a little closer than OG's like normal run, right?
Right. And Liquid are doing a good job to make sure that
the itch, and they put it on no tail and then call it a day, give Seb a new hero.
Is Chen one of those heroes? Because I know back in the day when both these heroes used to be all about getting neutral creeps, it seemed that there was a real give and take between Enchantress and Chen. Both these heroes have kind of changed their role, Febby. Why exactly do you think Liquid goes for the Chen to respond to this Enchantress?
I think they're looking to group up early and push early and just like have a better early to mid team fight. I think that's what they're thinking right now, especially with the tide pickup as well.
Also, both heroes in the early game have changed their playstyle a lot. It used to be Enchantress would go for enchant a lot. When she get a creep, the Wildkin, she'd have a little more bonus armor, she'd have Tornado, and that would be like her lane support, right? And now she's more getting heal and untouchable, and she's kind of just right-clicking your carry. And Chen, on the other hand, he has his new passive ability. I guess it's not a passive anymore, right?
It's got a passive component and an active component.
Active, yeah,
so
but
the Divine Favor gives the aura, and then obviously the active teleports you around the map.
So the passive gives you everyone HP regen in an area, and it increases the HP regen by percentage. So now a lot of the Chen, you'll see they buy a headdress, which also gives everyone bonus 2 HP regen. So now everyone from level 1 in Chen's lane is going to have like 5 HP regen. When they pair it with a hero like Tidehunter, that guy doesn't take damage. So they can kind of match these lanes up, the 2 from Liquid, put them in any hard lane, and they're going to get a lot out of it.
I want to talk about like the meta a little bit in TI because I played in I think 3 or 4 TIs. I think it was 3, and I've been watching other TIs as well. So the meta shifts twice in TI. Once is after the group stage ends and when the what is this called? The
Main event.
the main events for our starts. Like a lot of teams like take like those few days.
Especially during the 1 day break, right? There's a day break
Yes.
between the groups and the main stage.
Yeah, they study everything and they decide like what's really good in the meta. And we've been kind of seeing tiny void popping up in the main stage. And at the grand finals, meta shifts again. The first game kind of doesn't matter. It feels good if you win. But I think like Liquid from the first pick bans, because that's like the most important, because that actually shifts your the whole pick ban. So I think this is going to be a really important match to see if they are able to actually beat OG's Enchantress, because it's going to give them a huge edge if they win this, if they are able to beat the Enchantress, because they can play it themselves too.
It's also kind of crazy if you look at this, that OG gets first pick, right, this game? And look at their bans compared to Liquid bans. Liquid has to ban like 3 of these like game-winning
Signature
cores,
heroes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And OG gets to pick, you know, they ban this AA, so it's like it forces you to ban the ALK.
That's what I was getting into. Like OG has a lot of heroes that Liquid needs to first ban. Meanwhile, it's not the same for the others. So yeah.
Yeah, bans against Liquid seems to be more targeted towards Miracle during the ending phases of the draft, because usually you got to be worried about these random anti-mages coming out or something like that. You're not concerned about that happening in the first phase of the draft, so you're just kind of trying to establish your strategy. So for these two teams specifically, as we see a Rubik come out for Liquid, do you think it's more in Liquid's, like the ball is in Liquid's court to kind of figure out what OG is up to, and OG's just like, we're just going to play our own Dota. If you can beat it, then we'll maybe start sweating for game 2, but for right now, you got to prove that you can even take one game off of us.
OG right now, they looked at Dota Buff. They searched TI9, looked at the heroes from the main event, saw the highest win percentages and pick rates, and clicked the top 3.
These seem like good heroes.
And they're hoping that they're going to work together and win them a game of Dota.
Okay.
And Liquid is doing their own style, right?
Yes.
Like this TA is Weeha's hero ever since he joined Liquid. Even before Liquid, he would play like on Chaos, he'd play a lot. But they first picked it the entire time last major. They started first picking it last series. I think it's like their comfort way of playing. It gives them map vision, it gives them a like almost always a 50-50 lane at worst.
Yeah.
Even if it's like horrible, you can go jungle like in the Huskar lane, right? You can just jungle, catch up, and come back in the mid late game.
I think right now OG is thinking of picking Void or not. Like they're taking their time, because this pick is going to kind of determine their win condition.
I think they're wondering about, they probably saw the last match, right, which was a Void versus TA.
Yes.
And they saw how that probably panned out, how the TA just like, 3-shot the Void, you can't get time walk off, doesn't really matter. So they're probably considering if they're actually going to be scared of this TA and they need to pick, more of a safer carry against the TA, like a Spectre.
They're going to go for a hard carry option, but one that obviously is very, very strong against TA. Once the Spectre gets that Radiance online, suddenly TA's Refraction is just completely nullified pretty much.
Also, Spectre's a common Manta buyer. That's one of the things you want on an Agi hero versus TA. It serves 2 functions. You can dodge or move the Melt Strike, and also burns the Refraction instantly. Because you have 3 different heroes.
It is not a carry hero that we see much here at TI9, but it is really amazing against Liquid supports right now. Those 2 squishy, the single target supports, the backline supports. It's really easy for those Spectre to go on Liquid's backline right now.
So the cool thing about Spectre this tournament is people are like doubling down on the late game on it. They go Midas on Spectre. Their first item.
But what about the days of the old Vanguard Spectre where you're just like, no, I'll be able to make it to the late game. You're like, listen, either win or lose, this Spectre is going to get super farmed. It's up to you to end the game. And they were going Midas?
Yeah, it's like a lot of carries are going more, you have to get a lot out of the map these days, right? That's why these heroes like Alchemist and Meepo, like for Liquid, right? That's their Meepo. Like these, even Arc Warden, these heroes get more gold out of their gold.
Right.
Alchemist just gets double the gold from last hits. Arc Warden gets double the gold from
Midas.
Double Midas, but also in teamfights he has 2 sets of items.
True.
Meepo gets 4 times the stats, right? So they have a lot of like functions that, since these teams playing the map so well these days, and they can't really like, force people away from the map, that stuff like that is just really strong.
These heroes from Liquid side, it's really familiar too. I remember it punishing the Raise King draft. These heroes want to play fast, and that's what Spectre is kind of scared about. So laning phase is really important for both sides, because if Liquid gets to win, then they're just going to start snowballing.
OG last ban a Gyro and then pick up a Pugna.
So I think that's going to be a mid Pugna versus TA. The matchup's a lot better now than it has been, and even when the Pugna at 6, the TA has a really hard time laning against him. And they'll probably try to lane this tiny top, I guess. I think the tiny top's a little safer than the Pugna, but they can always swap the lanes around based on this last pick from Liquid.
I was thinking Liquid's gonna pick a hero like Troll to amplify the early mid game, but because of the Pugna pick, it can get kited real rare, so...
So Liquid want to take that Spectre game to the next level, another hero that can quickly amplify his own farm. Meepo, the last pick on Team Liquid.
That pushes TA to safe lane, I guess?
Yes.
It's a very early fast tempo. Spectre is not going to have a lot of room to breathe. It's pretty good late game, so yeah, it looks like a really good last pick.
So then does this change the side lane Liquid situation for OG? Like, are you going to move the Tiny around or the Elder Titan around elsewhere? Because you still got a Spectre that you got to babysit.
Probably not. The thing that's kind of scary for Liquid is OG has an ET, right? And ET is so good against Meepo.
Yes.
You get Astro Hero damage from each Meepo. You get the aura on all the Meepos. You can stomp all the Meepos. They're always going to be clumped. You're always going to be these big team fights. So that's the one big question I have about this Meepo pick.
And Elder Titan is a hero that we've been seeing a lot of strength of just in the laning phase, even before the multiple Meepos come online or something like that. He's going to be getting a ton of damage from that Astral Spirit.
Yeah, but individually you're right, but I think the way these heroes work together right now, Liquid's heroes, they all complement each other in the early mid game. So it's gonna be pretty hard if they win if OG loses the lanes. The lanes are really important this game.
All right, then let's hear some of the justification from Team Liquid's coach, Roman.
All right, Roman, you are now drafting in a grand final. Curious from your perspective, is it any different, your approach to the draft, now that you know that you've got 5 games instead of 3, or is the preparation the same?
It's slightly different simply because you have, let me put it this way, you can drop 1 game. Basically, it's a, how to put it, you get more time to play, basically.
How do you feel about your draft right now?
I think we have a very comfort draft this time. We played a very similar draft before in this tournament, so I feel good.
All right, well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to you guys as we get this first game going.
Thank you very much, Casey, and welcome everyone to the 2019 Grand Finals, a best of 5 between Team Liquid and OG. I'm only Pixel here with Bolt. We've just seen the draft. It's all very exciting, right? We have Liquid, they raise up the TA, then out comes the Pugna, and then they say, well, we're going to switch it around. We're going to bring out the Meepo. But, and there's a big but, right, Fog? There's something kind of good on OG's side.
There is a good Elder Titan pick for that Meepo. This should be a really interesting one. We look at OG, like you said, this is what happens when we get to the later stages, and of course in the finals of TI. It's all about counter picks and just mind games. Like you said, they just swap the lanes around immediately just for the picks. And even though you don't see too often that these swaps happen, it's gonna be those mind games. Because immediately, look who's actually playing the Meepo, and look at his items. Those aren't mid items on our Meepo. Those are side lane item Meepos. So that's already a big change up there. They're going to be seeing the player. They're going to be Weehaws playing Meepo. Of course it's going to be mid. So now we're going to see if they can actually scout the lane. Weehaws just going to hide. He has to hide this to make sure that OG does get caught off guard on it.
And talk to me about this then. The Elder Titan, a hero that we've seen a lot of drafts where for other reasons there could have been the reason to pick the Meepo, but it hasn't come out. What makes this hero so scary for the Meepos out there?
A lot of the times, of course, you get that big amount of damage that can work for Astro, but it's a 5 position. I think the bigger thing as a 5 position versus that Meepo is you're amplifying everybody else versus him, and you're stunning multiple Meepos. Sure, he's not going to be stacking all 5 of them all the time, or all 3 or 4 of them at the same time, all 3 of them, whatever, in those situations when he does have them, but it's the likeliness that you're getting multiple Meepos stopped is very, very high.
We're going to see both teams come out to try and get a look at getting the advantage in the runes, and it will be Liquid able to take 3 bounty runes to start the game off.
Lanes are identified immediately. OG's going to play super aggressive down bottom. They know it's a Meepo in the side lane. They're just going to constantly be running at him, and now it's going to be Miracle in that matchup mid versus a Tiny.
Yeah, interesting to see, especially after, as the panel were mentioning earlier, how Weehaw and Miracle were sort of juggled around back in the day on Vulcan Bears between the mid lane, and now here on the same team, Miracle says it's my turn to take myself back to mid.
I'm really curious
to the side lane
to see how the side lane Meepo is going to do. We pretty much strictly see this hero placed in the mid lane because you need experience. You want to be getting that solo experience for yourself, being able to always... Oh, Zeke actually going to get a tops back. Tops in... Oh, he actually has the tree grab as well as the avalanche, but put some pressure on. But yeah, this Meepo is going to be splitting experience with the Chen. So I think we're going to see Kuroki, in particular, moving away from the lane a lot as the Chen. You have to give Meepo levels.
Looking at the other side lane up top, mind control tied, backed up by GH against No-Tail and Ana. This is a lane where Ana's going to be able to get some space to farm, or can Liquid really amp up the pressure on a Spectre early on?
I think Ana's going to be able to farm up here just fine. They could set up some kills onto No-Tail, but onto Ana, I don't think you can kill a Spectre with a Rubik and a Tidehunter. You can prevent some farm though, right? This is the damage reduction lane. Fade Bolt as well as Anchor Smash will be a little annoying, but this is what Hellboy does. This is why he's picked so often.
Just runs the heroes down.
Yeah, he just secures the lane pretty nicely for
refreshing the spirit here, nearly getting GH. Single-handedly just beating these two far away from Ana, so Ana's got all the space in the world.
Yeah.
Have a look on the mid lane. CS 7 for 3. Thompson at the moment against the 4 for 0. I guess what expected, Tiny's going to have this advantage.
Yeah, would definitely think so. It's also very easy to always play aggressive as the Tiny too, because your Avalanche removes 6 of those instances of refraction whenever he does get the levels up on Miracle. Just gotta make sure you don't need too many side plays this option, because you are very low armor, of course.
Again, I mean, No-Tail. He's going to take quite a bit of damage in response this time with the go to the Anchor Smash. Trying to run away with the tank. He's going to look for the neutral creep tonight. Not going to get it. GH able to get that first blood, taking down No-Tail. As No-Tail, for the most part, still able to do his job with regards to pushing them away from Ana, but obviously wants to make sure that he doesn't feed himself away too many times. Otherwise, that is when you are going to see that dual lane up top, get the levels, and then have the better chance of forcing that Spectre out of the lane.
It's his job, though. I think a death like that for No-Tail, it's forgivable. Sure, you don't want it to happen, but he's owned them. Like you were saying, Ana's able to get all the last hits. He's 11-1 when it's only 7-2 Tidehunter. So it's all about the space. And we look at OG's draft. They're about the late game. You look at Liquid's draft, they're very early game centric. They want to be snowballing the game, getting Broach control, and just ending the game before it gets too late on. OG's, if it gets to the late game, you can assume that they're going to be able to take it very easily with that Spectre.
Yeah, when OG's having such a good time in some of these matchups, they're going to be very happy. The mid lane continuing to be very much in Thompson's favor. 15 for 8 against the 9 for 0. Miracle is going to look to fight back. Thompson getting rather low. Miracle looking for the angle. He does find the angle, but it isn't quite enough damage. Thompson will be able to walk away.
He's going to have to TP to base, though. That's pretty huge there. Miracle, after having a pretty rough start in the laning phase, 8 denies on the Tiny, pushes him out. Thompson getting a bit too over-aggressive there. So we see Weehaw is going to be hitting this level 3, level 4. Kuroki has absolutely been moving away from the lane a lot to ensure that the Meepo gets that extra experience. And he's grabbing his creeps. He's actually grabbing the Ogre Frostmage this time just for the armor. 15 armor on Meepo to soak some of that bullying that comes out from Seb as well as Jarex. But they're glyphing the wave, and they want to continue this pressure.
Farm between Seb and Wee, very even at the moment. They're both getting something good out of this lane. Still the best position on the map happens to be Ana's up top. The Spectre leading the way in CS. The duo lane was not able to do enough to break past No-Tail and slow Ana's early game down.
Thompson will not get the rune, but the rune will spawn bottom, and Jarex is already there waiting for it. So, yeah, I mean, we hop down bottom. He's just going to farm really well, actually, even though the Enchantress tends to be able to bully most heroes with the Ransack in combination with his armor. Like, his main Meepo is sitting at like 17 armor when he's away from the tower, of course. So how do you harass 17 armor when he's also healing off hitting creeps? So definitely an interesting approach coming out here from Liquid.
Thompson back in the lane. Definitely with that a good bit of time the Miracle got with Thompson having to head back to base. The even trader farm is there, and of course Miracle as the TA will be able to turn towards the jungle camps, ancient camps, and get those sort of guaranteed item timings unless OG's able to really invade Liquid's half of the map and get in his face.
Bounty runes in 10. Seems preparing for those. Thompson making his way down bottom to fill up his bottle as well.
The grab bag is always on the cliff.
He doesn't have a TP.
He doesn't have a TP, No-Tail.
He's got to watch the runes get taken right in front of him.
Oh, he's going to be stuck up here for a little bit of time. His only way down, really, a TP delivery. And it's not going to come for a while. No, he has some on the courier, but of course Thompson's got to take priority.
Now they're going to shift Jarex up top. He actually was jungling as the Pugna when he got the Arcane rune, so level 3, pretty decent levels on this Pugna to come up top and try to help Ana a little bit. And Ana already has Soul Ring, so he's got his farming item already finished up on the Spectre. But they will be able to pressure him a little bit now as GH, though, steps up a bit too far.
Get the dagger in, Jarex moving forward. GH brought down low. Jarex needs one more blast to connect, and there it is. GH is brought out.
As soon as No-Tail's out of action on that top lane and on the cliff, they bring Jerax in and are able to make sure that that lane really does continue to go the favor of OG. And the time and space is created for the Current to get out, get No-Tail his TP so he's back in action.
And he's going to double stack. So he got some time wasted for himself on that Elder Titan, but gets 2 stacks up for his team to be able to farm up. And he's going to get that extra gold as well from that stack.
Yeah, and OG just really made the best out of what
Could have been a bit of an awkward situation.
Yep. With OG potentially having Ana be supportless on that lane for a minute. A group back up, OG making full efficiency of the shrine. And that bottom lane, Weehaw.
It's the most important one to look at.
He's getting the farm. He's able to turn into the jungle a little bit as well. In fact, with the boost, he's keeping Sep low. Sep is going to be able to run away with that heal, but has to be careful as that magical poof gets leveled up.
He's committing forward again, actually, onto Sep. Fakes out those poops. Sep will be forced to pop one of the fairy fires just in case. Weehaw, it's a really interesting approach, right? I mean, Kuroki is literally just giving this Meepo pretty much full experience down bottom, and it's giving him good opportunities to pressure Sep, pressure an Enchantress, which you usually do not see.
And imagine if they can get the setup again as Sep gets blocked in here. Will steal the creep for Kuroki, but the controls there from Weehaw. Fairy fire pop Sep.
He's going to have the heal back up in a second. So once more, will be able to keep himself out of vision behind the tree. Pop the heal. Weeha's going to try. Now he's going to hold it off. He knows he's not got the damage to do so. Back up top, Liquid getting in close and personal with No-Tail.
I wonder if that was a bit of a misclick bottom, right? Kuroki actually divine favored the Meepo that was right next to him. Back to... I think he was trying to pull... I don't know. It looked like he was trying to pull GH or somebody else bottom to go for the Enchantress go, but he ended up pulling the Meepo that was right next to him. So a little bit of wasted time there for the divine favor on that first gank, but yeah, they do get No-Tail up top.
Still overall a very close laning phase. A 1k advantage at the moment for Liquid, just 2 for 1. As there's no one really getting heavily zoned out of their lane. All the cores finding farm in this early game.
Yeah, I guess my control maybe the slight one, but he's just right behind Seb anyway. He took barely any advantage for the Enchantress. But now Seb, he's trying to get it. Get some pressure on.
Making sure that Weehaw cannot sort of be left to his own devices inside of the jungle.
It's a neat way of like approaching the dynamic, right? They're like, okay, Enchantress is gonna suffer a little bit here, but then Jerax, you're actually the one that can press your tower. So now we have a Pugna that's farming bottom and taking the tier 1 as a support.
And Thompson was able to get in and grab the regen room, but Miracle, he's got backup. GH is there. Thompson, he cannot escape these twos. GH is able to block him off. He may have got the rune, but it'll cost him his life.
There's no further backup from OG prepared for
that contest of the rune that Liquid knew was absolutely going to happen. Thompson was going to go hunting for that 8-minute rune every time.
And they actually like double protected the mid lane too with sentries just to be able to watch out for their side traps from the TA, but not up toward the rune. And those are the ones that are really going to punish the movements. You aren't able to have those sentries placed down pretty much everywhere.
Correct. He's ready to smash some fools with the double Hellbears, taking them up towards the top, set up down to mind control, instantly crack the shells off the sleep, but it doesn't matter. The damage output from Thompson will take mind control out of the lane. Successful rotation from Thompson. We'll see if he can make anything more happen with this. Kuro still around in the neighborhood. Thompson, GH, here's another combo. It's another kill. Thompson
do this a lot of times.
Thompson.
Yep, when he plays the Tiny, he just gets super active. Look at Seb as well. They know that they just need to get active around the map and then just give space for Spectre.
He's trying to play the number game here, seeing if he has the damage output to bring down Jerax, but in fact it's Jerax that brings Weehaw. He's one of the Meepos incredibly low. We'll be able to get into the trees. Poof back to safety, back towards mid. Thompson starting to dive in towards Miracle. He has the meld, no detection on the front lines from OG. So Miracle will be able to back away. Also GH and Kuro by his side in case the dive came in, but OG they'll hold off. Look for the 10-minute rune. Thompson's going to be able to grab it again. Double damage this time.
Oh my god.
You've got to watch out for the plays he's looking to make.
You can't let him get all these power runes. We saw what he's been able to do in the group stages when he just starts taking over runes, and it's starting to happen. Sure, Liquid, they're still looking good with their farm, but they want to be more ahead. They're all about that early game centric draft, and Thompson started to.
Here we go. There's nothing more terrifying than a Thompson Tiny coming to look for a high five. GH has to run. He's going to come over. And Thompson knows that He has dove as far as he can, or has he? Still looking at an opportunity to get in on GH as he'll look to cut down the trees. He's going to find the Avalanche and Thompson. He persists. He continues the chase. He sees the opportunity. And he's just getting so much done. This Tiny just can't stop killing people.
And he's going mid again, and they're already pressuring the tower with the siege creep here, while Ana just continues to farm up top. Ana does not have, he does actually have mana for the Haunt if he does use the Soul Ring.
Another Ravage in mid. Mind Control's going to come in with a quick setup onto Jax. A meld hit from Miracle will do the job. Now they look for the body blocks onto Seb. Smash there from the Hellbear. Liquid will punish OG. Getting themselves those 2 kills as the rest of OG sort of try and follow in the footsteps of Thompson with their aggression. Doesn't work out as well for those two.
They bring a lot of attention, though. Weehaw still able to farm the jungle for the side of Liquid, but a lot of attention's been brought onto that mid tower, and it's pretty much dead. It's down to 150 HP. But OG losing a bit more than they probably wanted to there as Mind Control getting that nice Ravage. But Ana, that's the big one to look at, right? He's got the Soul Ring, he's now got the Midas finished up as well. It's low, though. Weehaw might actually have to set up for this here.
Even with the one charge, he won't have enough for a Horn or any way to escape as Weehaw from the trees. He's got the catch. Ana, has he got the movement speed? He has, in fact. He's going to be able to separate himself. They're trying to go for it, but they just don't have enough duration on that lockdown. He'll be able to walk away from what looked like potentially a guaranteed kill.
And that would have been such a clutch one too, right? It was right when the Midas was coming out. Thompson getting a bit deep here, getting surrounded. Has the phase boots with the windlace, but will get slowed up.
Yeah, Miracle with the round round. Thompson, his reign on Liquid's half of the map finally put to an end.
They are literally just running around trying to set up kills and just make space for the Spectre. But now Sam also a bit far up, and he's getting surrounded.
Trying to keep this aggression up. Just gets burst down by the heavy damage output of Liquid's heroes. He cannot continue to play this aggressive, overestimating his safety with that heal, but it doesn't matter if there's the burst online. And at this point, 12 minutes in, with Liquid having the numbers, they could easily take the edge out of the game and put pressure onto the tier 1 tower. We'll see a TP in from Thompson. He's ready to try and help hold. A stop set up once GH will be there, but still with the stolen Avalanche. He'll keep Thompson and Notel at bay.
Big 2 moves there by Liquid. This is how they want to play. They want to be setting the tempo, setting the pace with their draft, getting that big early advantage so that they can go into the Roche pit and force OG to fight them when they have this late game type of draft with the Spectre. OG doubling down to make sure they protect their mid tower too. Just all about this map control and keeping themselves farmed up. It's really going to be that name of the game. Is OG's going to try to farm, gank as well, and just let the Spectre get that late game insurance. Seb actually had a Midas queued up as well, and he switched. He's starting to realize it's not just like the magical damage that was hurting or anything, it's the physical burst from all the armor reduction. That meld plus the gush, it's too much for him to handle. He's going Ghost Scepter first time. So really needing and really wanting to emphasize that he can actually survive a single combo, but there's still a lot of magic damage also on Liquid.
It pretty much will save him from every hero apart from the Meepo. Yeah, the Weehaw Meepo is still going to be a big threat for Seb, but even with it, like that was going to be the case anyway, right? Yeah. It's not like it makes the situation worse. If it was caught out by the Meepo now, he'd probably die anyway. So having that Ghost Scepter against the other heroes on Liquid's lineup will certainly give him a chance to get the heal off, walk away, and buy time for the rest of OG to come in and keep the fight going.
Level 12. This is a very high level TA with a lot of farm right now, almost at the top of the net worth in the game. And yet level 12 in comparison to Thompson has been running around. As you expect, he will be starting to get behind the level.
See if he's got the duration of control with these roots. One more will be out, but there's the backup. Notel, he's able to set up a beautiful sweep onto the 3 of them. Jax and Thompson here as well. He'll look to burst if he cannot escape with the avalanche from Thompson. He's held down. The rest of Liquid trying to abuse the fact that Seb's alone, but this time Seb will be able to walk away. The most they'll get out of it is that mid 2-1 towers. Miracle keeps pushing on.
There's one of the examples why ET can be so good versus Meepos. You're always going to be getting some situations where you get multi-heroes, multi-Meepo stomps and setting up for a counter gank. And even Jerax down bottom, Ana was low. They don't want Ana to go back to base. Jerax actually drains pretty much all of his health pool with the life drain to heal up Ana so he can keep that map presence.
I mean, you can definitely feel that timer. Ana, Midas, 1,700 gold on his way towards the Relic and Radiance. They've got to keep the pressure on, and they have now got that Desolator done on Miracle. We've seen already the physical damage output they can offer, and here we have it again. Goodbye, Seb. Back
to the base with you, as Liquid can now make these moves, take these tier 1s, and even start to think about going for tier 2s very early on with this Chen, Deso, TA combination.
Even go for sneaking a Roche. They could even just send the Chen creeps with the TA, easy Roshan, or the same thing with the Meepo. They have a lot of different options that Liquid can do in order to just sneak these very strong objectives for them that they need in this game. They want to keep the snowball going. 3K advantage, very good for Liquid right now, but they got to keep it up. They don't want to slow down in this game at all. Do not let OG back up and farm.
This is their window. This time before the Radiance, they have to take as much as they can from the map.
7. Turning up top, trying to get that creep aggro off the tower.
Also going to see Notel start to head over. We'll get a few wards down for the vision. And back in mid, Thompson was pushing out the wave. Weehaw was ready to make the jump.
Thompson.
And he get himself out. The avalanche, buying him time to get into the trees. The next route will miss, but that one will connect as Weehaw. Has he got the damage? He
sure does.
Weehaw now starting to get the kills, and again, top lane Seb, he just gets run down by this combination of the Tide and the TA. Notel's disabled as they'll pick him up, toss him down. Miracle's just starting to walk around with the group, get these kills after kills.
Going to be respawning, but they should be able to kill this way too fast for the side of OG to respawn, but they are going to be respawning. Let's see if they can actually make it there, as also a full Ethereal Blade now finished up for the Meepo.
Now we're going to see, when Weehaw tries to go for these kills, he's going to get them every time. There's not going to be that sort of delay, that requirement for him to hit every net. They're going to get destroyed in the first combo that the Meepo comes out with.
This is exactly how they needed to play the draft so far, and they've gotten away with that. They just need to keep that advantage pushing. Ana, about 200 gold from the Relic.
It's close.
Still a ways
the
away.
Timer is still ticking.
Yep.
That's mid lane. Thompson jumped upon. Jarix is there. Can offer the heal to keep him safe, as well as Notel throwing out a stop. Holds Liquid back. Liquid, they're not ones to stop the pressure they're putting on. They'll stand tall here as they push on towards this tier 2 tower.
And I love how they can do this. They send Meepo bottom, they send Weehaw down there. He can set up to defend the tower, and he can just poof back in. Or even if they send another hero bottom, they can Divine Favor and bring that hero also back.
Got to watch for mind control. That Blink and Ravage available. He's looking for an opportunity to set something up. Anytime he feels that he can get in with a Ravage, he'll go for it. In fact, they're going to try and fight with the Horn here, and straight away Ana comes into the mid. Mind control. He has the Ravage ready. Terror to all 5 of them, and now they can just run OG's hero down one by one. Thompson tries to turn with the avalanche, but the mech is popped. Ana and Thompson are dead. They do lose Miracle for this effort, as well as Weeha's. The Aegis getting taken the once. See if they can go for it a second time. No, he had the main Meepo out in the jungle, so he's easily safe and back out off the back of the respawn. A 2 for 2. Bringing him with this Horn. Ana ends up being on the front lines. And that really was, I think, the easiest Ravage that Mind Control's had to pop.
I think they underestimated how tanky the side of Liquid really is when they have this mech finished up, as well as a Hand of God up from Kuroki. You see, they go in with the Haunt, but everything just gets popped pretty much right away after that Ravage, and they're all full with this advantage. If they can keep this advantage going, it's going to be great for them.
Everything so far on the checklist of what Liquid needs to do has been ticked. 13-7, 6K lead, both Weehaw and Miracle hitting those timings. They have the farm, 10K advantage.
And you see them immediately group up, go back to the mid lane. Even if they don't have Ravage just yet, they're still just trying to set up and push the base down, push as hard as they can, take all the objectives, close the map from OG. As you see Meepo, Weehaw, he's constantly on the prowl, looking for Ana, looking for the Spectre in the side lanes.
See, Ana, he knows he's got to be careful, showing he's so close to having the Radiance. And at a time where Horn is about to be back online, he's got to try and get it up, but a beautiful net into the trees there is going to hold him back, cancel the TP. Should still have the chance of running away with the dagger. But I mean, I say that Weeha's continuing to the route. He's hitting them every single time. He's held him down. The dagger is there, but there's the E-Blade. Weeha continues to play around with Ana, and they'll drag him back. GH is there with a follow-up. I mean, he hit them every single time, blind into the trees. That's a dead Ana, and at the most important time, he was so close to his Radiance. He had the Horn available, but he's out the game again. Liquid continuing to do everything right.
Yep. This Meepo pick is really seeming to be amazing for them, as it just puts too much pressure on the map. They were able to push as a grouped unit, get these towers down, but also the Meepo can address the split push, address the late game that OG's trying to take it to. Can constantly pick up those sides. 14-7, 8K lead, 6K experience advantage as well. And immediately, they're knocking on the front door.
This is the scary bit for OG as they sort of ask themselves, are they going to go high ground? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Deso, BKB, no reason for Liquid to start to slow.
This is the point where even though they have that 8k lead, you got to be careful. You lose one fight whilst ahead against the Spectre and his Radiance, that's when the comeback can begin.
Absolutely. But they do have BKB on Miracle. They have a lot of these big items that allows them to go for aggressive plays.
Seps is going to buy him a little bit of time. The stolen dagger for GH is going to get choked down upon him. GH trying to offer him the heals. No tail with the stomp from the high ground. Able to disable Miracle's TA. Make sure that he cannot continue to commit onto Seb, and Seb will be kept safe. As Liquid still continue to sort of dance around the outskirts of OG, wait to see an opportunity to go in, but they know they've got to be careful. And OG, they'll smoke up. They themselves know they can get something good going with that Spectre Horn. The smoke was spotted out by the warding. So they know that OG's up to something, Liquid, and they're trying to sort of bait at the moment. Have Miracle on the front, see who reveals themselves. For now, it's just Seb.
Both sides look good, kind of baiting, right? Seb's like, come at me. My team's on the right, you know this, but I know your team's on the left. So both teams kind of play with each other there. Popping the south now, trying to force Miracle to go in further.
And another meld hit off the mid. Seb's got to be careful. He's got the Ghost Scepter, but mind control jumps in Gush. Used to help slow Seb down. Still need a bit of damage from the Avalanche. Trying to bait out a BKB potentially, but Miracle keeps his cool. Relies on the refraction alone.
Still very tanky. 1680 HP. Thompson looking to want to go back in, though. He has the blink available.
Seb, a little low, but the Nature's Attendants will make quick work of getting him back up to full HP. And OG, they are certainly starting to push Liquid back off their half of the map. Thompson's going to look for the quick combo on GH, but a Glimmer Cape's available. They still have the vision with the sentry down for a toss. GH, he's able to back off and get away. The Horn now being used. They want to try and utilize this radius to get the kills. They'll get the support of GH. Window where Liquid can get back to doing what they just were, especially with the Blink Dagger being finished on Miracle.
OG definitely wanted to get more out of that one there, but Liquid too quick to disengage. That Glimmer, just every little thing buying some time for them to get out before that Spectre Haunt is able to catch more in the back lines.
I mean, and you could see that was exactly how Liquid was playing there. That whole sort of movement and sort of hesitating to go in. They were just waiting for that Horn. OG, they finally felt forced to try and make something happen with it, and it wasn't good enough. Liquid still able to keep this stronghold.
Both teams were definitely toying with each other a little bit there on the initiation. Both teams had good vision of each other. They both were aware of most of the heroes.
He's going to have eyes on Thompson. Quick blink from Thompson now before the Gush connects. Seb's instantly out of this top area of the map.
Thompson also having a haste rune. This could be a really big one for the next upcoming fights, as he can dance in and out of the fights much easier to get multiple combos. Liquid all joining in together in the area up top. They have a Silver Edge also finished on the Meatbone too. So Silver Edge in this game, I know we've seen a lot of Meatbones just pick up Silver Edge, but in this game, he's versus a Spectre, he's versus an Enchantress. It's a really good Silver Edge game.
Especially in Spain. It still takes a little bit of time, right, to get that first hit on the edge. Continue to hold and make sure that Liquid don't take any of the tier 3s. And, you know, despite that early advantage, that they are yet to be able to break the base of OG. OG, even with not necessarily the biggest Horn in the world, it's slowing down Liquid that little bit. That lead that they've grown has started to sort of stagnate and to stay at that same bar. If OG can take a great fight around the Horn, the turnaround could start to come in. Seb,
for sure.
Up to the high ground. They're going to go down. Jump forward from Miracle. They're going to offer the stomp. It will slow down Miracle's damage output and giving Seb the time to walk out. Ghost Scepter pops as well as the heals. Liquid try and stay on top of the edge. There's the lockdown. Weehar's in with the net. They'll finally kill Seb off by Anna Spectre.
I feel like we've seen a lot of these cat-mouse games a lot here at this Internationals. When you have this late-game lineup that doesn't really have the best team fight, you're facing versus a lineup that has an immense amount of team fight, you kind of just have to dance around the map and try to take your best bets and just push, split push, and catch waves and just delay the game. That's what OG's name of the game is for this one. Liquid's trying their best not to allow that to happen, and they have good heroes for it, as we're mentioning. They even have an Illusion Rune now, too, for the Meepo, so he's going to push out the bottom wave, they're going to push in the mid wave, too, and then pretty much everything is pushed in so they can go for this opportunity of that Roche.
Yeah, another Roche. Another Aegis. Of course, this time the cheese on top as a bit of a bonus for Liquid.
Yep.
And with the speed that they do it, even with OGs, there's some decent ways to contest Roche to mess up.
The scary thing is, though, it's, you know, we're saying the late game insurance always about the Spectre, but everybody else on the side of OG, they're really falling off. And it's a Spectre, sure, who's amazing in the game, but versus a TA and a Meepo, these two might be enough. It probably are enough to be able to just crush a Spectre in these fights.
Especially with the Silver Edge build, as you mentioned.
They have the tools. It's not an easy situation at all for OG to get themselves out of. As Ravage in control, but the Ravage is going to buy time for the rest of the team to come over. First net won't quite connect onto Anna as he's forced back to safety. They'll still continue to try and chase on. Anna's into the trees this time. He will be able to TP out. We are not quite in range. Continue to lock it down. Thompson with a poke from the back, making sure that
push that's going to be coming out from Liquid inevitably.
The items for Anna are continuing to roll out. Full Manta. The items for everyone else still have ground to a bit of a hole on OG. Setups there onto one of the meepos. They're going to drop the ult down, but already Miracle's on the backside. He's dead. He's dead. He pauses the BKB. It doesn't matter. They're able to beat him down, and now they look towards We Are. Miracle's up with the impetus. It follows up. Still, he has enough HP to walk on for the charge. Steps in. He's straight on top of We Are. We Are's dead the once. Can they do? He's able to jump back down, get himself away. OG continue to chase, but these roots, these nets, they're holding OG back. Thompson in again with the blink. He needs help. We Are. Is he going to get it? The stomps out onto the entire army of meepos. Hand of God's palm. We Are trying to turn. Miracle is killed on Jarek. The buyback from Miracle. They're trying to get around Liquid. They'll get Thompson and Jarek. Sam with no doubt. They're going to try and run. Anna, he's in with the horn, chasing down We Are. He can surely finish this kill. We Are so low. The Glimmer give it a line. Finally, Anna gets We Are. Liquid back. Looking to continue the cleanup. They'll chase Seb. Seb's heals will not be strong enough. Seb will fall. No tell. TP out in the trees gets him away. Anna's still in the neighborhood, but he will manage to make his way out of there. They get the kill on Weeha. They force out a buyback from Miracle, but still it costs them a lot, and they're diving deep, OG.
You see how much they want to go for those dive plays, though. They're like, Ana is getting kills, Ana is being enabled, Ana, right? For OG, that's all they're thinking about, is just making this man shine. And they're starting to. He's almost creeping toward the #1 net worth. Has this
with the BKB, but I believe they were able to just get enough burst out before he actually popped the BKB. He died so quickly after. I mean, this was a great sort of bring back from Liquid. This fight could have certainly gone a whole lot worse for Liquid, but they were able to draw OG so far and so deep that a buyback from Miracle was able to be there in time to allow them to get some kills in return. And he nearly sort of survives this.
It was all of these, it was every little thing inside of that instance too. It was the Hand of God, I believe it was the mech as well, and then he also E-blades the meepo that's getting focused. 100+ seconds in these next few moments could be devastating.
We Are. He's found himself something juicy. Thompson out in the jungle, does have a blink. He's going to try and get out, going for the TP-GH. Will he find him in time? He will. GH in with the grab as Thompson is held back away from being able to TP back to the safety of his base. Dead for 50 seconds. No buyback as well on Thompson. So if Liquid can get the push back together.
So they knew they could chase all the way to the base of Liquid, but now Ravage is back. That's Liquid's timing with this cheese to make sure that Miracle gets his BKB off and protect him. That TA cannot die in these next few moments.
It just feels, the whole team of OG just sort of standing on Anna's shoulders. He's carried them before. This game is going to be quite a heavy one, but he has got the farm. The problem is that the farm fatigued Liquid is so well dispersed across all their carries. They're all a threat for every single member of OG.
And Thompson's been the punching bag this game. His net worth, he's probably going to get surpassed by Jerax at some point in this game, but Jerax is pretty farmed in this one also for a Pugna. But yeah, like you said, it's mostly on Ana's shoulders, back line heroes so easily.
He just feels like he has to do everything, right?
Yeah.
He has to survive, he has to do the damage. Sometimes the best defense is an offense. That's why we're seeing him cue that diffusal blade up potentially instead of the heart. We'll see what he does invest into, and he's going to buy it up. Diffusal will be there for the next fight, so if they can get in with the perfect horn timing, you could start to see a fight where OG are able to sort of pick apart the backline.
I try to press their issue up onto that high ground here with that time.
See every time, no tell. Just making sure the spirit is sort of out in between the teams. So anytime that Liquid do get a kill like this, they cannot just easily collapse onto the remaining members of OG.
His job is keep your spirit for that natural order on top of pretty much everybody so that Ana can do all that extra damage. Keeps throwing it out.
Map, whilst OG is pushed in, is absolutely perfect with this meepo. He can get so much out of being everywhere. Being with the push,
being in the jungle, being in the lane, and we are absolutely one of the best in the game at doing so with this hero.
Yeah, and they can even, like we were talking about before too, it's not just the Meepo that can go around everywhere, because they have a Chen, they have Divine Favor, so if they want to send another hero even, they can always be pulling people across the map with that Rapture ability of the Divine Favor. As you see the Meepo top, silver-edged, Weehaw trying to find a frag as he knows OG is going to be setting up on the sides. The smoke comes out.
This is really, I guess, the sort of the last hero you want to tackle. Miracle gonna head over to try and go for the bounty room. We'll actually be able to grab it, despite the three of them being here, but they'll look to make him pay. They'll lead in, BKB's popped by Miracle. Anna will continue to chase with the horn.
He's following him.
He's staying on top of him, making sure that any sort of escape is hard. Mind Control's gonna come in the back. He's looking to try and draw the attention of the rest of us. Yeah, there's the Ravage Pod, and now the turnaround comes into play. Liquid, they'll surround Anna. He dove too far. To get anything going their way against Liquid. Another sort of end of a bit of a dry spell where this passive play comes to a point where the frustration is felt. Anna feels he has to try and make something happen with the horn. It doesn't go their way, and in fact, mid lane, another attempt to push out Thompson was trying to get the creep waves away from the base, but Weehaw, he is just everywhere on this map.
Ooh, it's starting to get a bit out of hand here. Anna, he's...
The Glimmer will save him. He gets into Crapper Fire. But it doesn't matter. He takes down to the output of Weehaw. Back towards mid. OG, they've got 4 dead. Finally, Seb's back in the game. 20 seconds till Anna returns. But obviously, a longer cooldown that matters. That 30 seconds before Horn. As even with the Horn, we've seen with how far Liquid are ahead, OG just struggle to get any fights going in their favor as they'll dive in. Weehaw, with all the stats, he's so tanky now in the Meepo that they cannot bully him away. And 36 minutes in, Liquid will finally get themselves into the base, take that mid ranks. They're going to look for more. Jarek's still down for 20. They do have that Meepo ready to go. They get the toss back on Mind Control. Yeah! The chase continues. Anna, he found Mind Control. A second kill here for OG. Weehaw surrounds Anna. Anna needs the safety. Jarek is there. The Cripper by the heel. Anna is still alive. Seb sits to the side, throws out the impetus. Weehaw is falling low. GH cannot save him. Weehaw is dead. OG, they'll hold on to the game. They may have lost their ranks, but they team-wiped Team Liquid. That's the horn they've been looking for. There's got to be more buybacks if Liquid want to try and force OG away. Jarek.
More buybacks.
He's already up to the high ground. They do have the Ravage still on Mind Control. Mind Control. He's looking for that option. He's stepping in. Stomp from No Tail.
Ravage.
Does get it out. No follow-up though. It's a bit of a Ravage. And then a death. Mind Control. There's no follow-up.
He picked it up instantly. He picked it up. I mean, he wants to get in.
Yeah, he's the captain.
I mean, that tells me that he wants to be...
Yeah.
Wait, how much... So, with Meepo, you're actually getting the extra duration. So, usually how the stop works is however many heroes you hit with your stop, you get the BKB timing when it comes back. But now he's going to be hitting a lot of heroes, which means he can frontline, which means he can stick on top of the heroes and apply the natural order.
This is the Meepo counter.
This is a very
on another level. On another level.
All right, let's... I mean, that
and look at the goal difference.
There's
a point where it felt like for Liquid, it was going to really start going their way. The final moment that they were actually able to take that mid-tier 3 in the racks, that's when the game turned around entirely on its head.
The Meepo had no buyback for all of it, right? Weehaw spent all his gold thinking...
Now it's OG.
And now it's OG. They're taking tier 3. Oh my god.
Seb's got a full E-blade. You can get Anna still feeling confident on the front lines with that heart and Aegis. Thompson jumps in, finds Miracle outside of the base. He's stunned up. Miracle trying to hold on to the BKB charge. But slowed him down. They'll put the BKB. The impetus is the reset and just forcing Liquid back. As Liquid, they're held back behind their racks. The creeps are gone. Backdoor protection will kick back in for Liquid, but now it ends once more. As the mid lane reaches the middle racks, the range... It's not easy for We Are to fight into his OG. They're not leaving, they're not going anywhere.
And look at where they're hiding the backline. Look at Jarex as well as Noto. They're hitting so far away from everybody else. They want nothing to do with this Meepo wraparound.
He's going to go in with the Ravage. They'll be able to get Seb first. Can they get more? Anna, still not the target they want to find. They want to try and find the easier kills for No Tail. He's able to walk this off with that axe effect. Another hero that's now so hard for Liquid to ever get on top of. Zana, gets the break hit. But OG, they're now starting to play around with Liquid. Mind Control blinks out. Miracle does pop the BKB. They're trying to run down Jarex, but the net won't catch him.
They just can't. Like, Anna's literally running into 5 heroes by himself, and the rest of the team is all the way in the back line. They just cannot deal with Spectre now.
I mean, Mind Control's still trying to chase. but they just cannot do it. In every fight, the mana gets so low. Anna.
He's healing up. He's getting ready to hunt. It looks like he's eating 2 mangoes.
Oh, they've got to be careful.
Liquid, they continue to try and chase this. You know that whole play's going to come in. And gets Jags away. No, goes for the Storm, won't get it out. Miracle's got the physical damage out, but to take him down in time. There's now Liquid. They'll find Jags as well. In the trees with the runes. Have they got the damage to kill him off? He'll slide to the side. He's trying to run away. Another net will catch him out. He'll kill Jag. Trees are being thrown left, right, and center. Thompson, can he bring down Wee with the radiance of Anna burning him down? They can. They get Wee hard. But entirely, you really have to appreciate that for a large portion of the mid-game. What about 15k behind?
15,000.
Anna was the only one that was really having a look at that drop-off.
Yep. And you said, we've seen Anna play it this TI. We also saw him playing it last TI. Yeah. He loves his Spectre.
Anna is back. He really is.
Liquid has to be pretty thankful that they still have a tier 2 up top. So OG isn't going to be able to go for those megas. They're going to back up, and what a swing. As Liquid, how do they take fights? They now have a pretty solid build here on Miracle. He's got the Bloodthorn plus the Nullifier, but he's all in.
It's got to be worrisome, right? For Weeha, he goes fully in on this stat build, right? No sort of X, the double Skadi.
Yep.
And still, they are
the means to be able to bring down that Meepo.
They really do.
And now I guess the lanes are being pushed in. OG, they're setting up to go for that tier 2 top. They've got pretty much everything available. They've got the haunt now too.
And a lot of those stats sort of rendered ineffective, right? All this agi that's giving him, what, 30 armor, it's taken away. There's no flat armor.
As long as the ET's next to him, yeah. Sure. As long as No-Tail can actually get
most of these fights,
he is going to.
With that axe, he can afford to get in and stop possibly 2 Ghost Scepters and an E-Blade on OG's lineup and a Decrepify. Now they can have a bit more luck on committing for the kills. They'll find Thompson. He's out. They have the pick-off potential. Anytime the OG is separated, you cannot write off how quickly Liquid's lineup can delete heroes, with Miracle's build sort of coming to completion with the Bloodthorn Nullifier.
But Thompson was just cutting bottom weight of it, looks like. It's going to be
they're going to know this. They're going to keep the pressure up on top. Heart, Butterfly, 5.7k gold in the bank. Why not? Anna's Spectre so far ahead right now. As he leads his team towards the third and final set of racks, Miracle has to blink away. Now the buybacks are available for the 2 of them. They have the gold to get back in. Fortification will slow down OG's efforts for now.
They're still going to
use the buyback. Out it comes. Zana will get the D-Ward, continue to push on, taking these racks. Mind Control, trying to set forward, but Seb turns towards him. Seb pretty low in the mana, but he's got enough rainbows to bring Mind Control down to about 25% of his HP. He'll pop the BKB Miracles, looking for the backlines again. These Ghost Forms are annoying him. The Dispel will be there. On to No-Tail, but he's Thompson's got the combo, the damage to kill him off. Mind Control is in with the Raptor. As Liquid will hold his 3 buybacks they have to use.
Seb instantly buying back. The Roche is up.
They want to contest
now. Going into it there, there's going to have to be a bunch of buybacks for OG. They have Refresher queued up on Ana. How much gold does he have for buyback? He doesn't have, he's almost had enough for buyback with the Refresher. But Liquid,
if he wants to sell one of his items,
they're going to be able to get this one though. More push. But Liquid, they have to just run it down the mid lane, try to force these buybacks. Aegis cheese.
Well, at the moment, the Aghanims and the Refresher Shard being held by Mind Control. Is yet to consume the Aghanim's blessing. Liquid trying to force out these buybacks. Anna, he's got to buy back. The tier 4s are being focused. They're not interested in Megas Liquid. They're just interested in ending the game. End to game 1. It looked like Liquid had it in the early game. It looked like they started to throw it away. It looked like OG was on the verge of getting a win. They took everything bar 1 rain tracks from Liquid's pace. But then Liquid, they come back into the game, get the Roche, run down mid. Anna, I don't know why he was waiting, but he never bought back.
He held it. Bring it on.
I can't quite believe what we saw in this game.
I think the rap story right there. You guys can't see the graph right now, but it's just all the way up for Liquid, then all the way slams down for OG's favor, then all the way back up for Liquid. What a back and forth with that. Looked like OG, they were going to be able to take it there with the super perspective, but Liquid had perseverance, they were able to isolate him, and they kept their cool.
They really
a game, and that was just the first one to open up the International Grand Finals of 2019. Now, before we're gonna discuss that,